It's important that we talk about this, especially as we are all going to board an aircraft one way or the other. The world is so connected that, Charlie, even if you want Jaguar a plane you will pick. Hello guys, HeliPilotGh. So this week has not been a pleasant week for aviation. There have been some incidents around and it's so sad. The most recent one is the one airport disaster. That's the 737, the Jeju aircraft that had an unfortunate incident at the one airport. 179 people unfortunately lost their lives. It's an unfortunate incident. And it's important that we talk about this, especially as we are all going to board an aircraft one way or the other. The world is so connected that, Charlie, even if you want Jaguar a plane you will pick. So you cannot hide. We have to start this conversation, especially this aviation safety conversation in this our aviation space in Ghana here. They say when your friend's beard is on fire, you collect water and stand by. But in this case, you don't have to collect water and stand by. You must put your beard in water, because you may sit in the same kind of aircraft in the future. You may fly to that destination in the future, or you may be landing at an airport with similar characteristics. So I'm sure the Koreans did not expect any bad news the day before, but unfortunately, this has happened. So I want us to spark this conversation. This video is not intended to prejudice the investigation, and it's not intended to cause pain or harm to anybody. It is just to start a conversation, like I said. So my opinions and the comments are not definitive. One airport is an airport in the south part of Korea, and it is reasonably busy. It's reasonably new also. The South Korean aviation industry is very developed. It's very developed. They have modern systems, and they've tried to take the lead in the world. And one airport is one of the reasonably busy airports. With respect to Jeju Air is just one of the many carriers or low-cost carriers in South Korea. Low-cost carrier meaning like smaller airlines. So there's Jeju Air, Jin Air, T-Way, Jet, I think Air Busan. There are quite a number of them, and Jeju is one of them. And they are all doing quite well, There's not been any major incident that's gotten global attention like this before. So it was unfortunate that we woke up one day to see a Jeju Air aircraft, Boeing 737-800, flying low on the runway, flying into an obstacle. Wow. It was so sad. Initially, when I saw the video of the aircraft flying low on the runway and hitting the concrete embankment, I just hoped that that was not Germanwings Part 2. For those who don't know Germanwings was an aircraft that was blown into an obstacle by one of the crew members because he had some challenges psychologically. So I was just hoping that was not Germanwings Part. So I followed the news, did some research, and the reports stated that the aircraft seemed to have been in distress. There was a landing gear malfunction. And landing gear malfunction meaning the tires will come out, as simple as that, and also an initial bed strike. So why and how could this happen? So I want to look at why and how could this happen. Let's look at the airport environment. The aircraft ran into an obstacle. This has sparked conversation on the positioning of certain navigational aids in and around airport area. People are asking why we have that obstacle close to the runway. Is it because of the nature of the airport? Is it the airport design? Only those who build the airport will understand or be able to explain to the investigators as investigations are ongoing. People are asking why did they use the kind of material they used for the navigational aid at the end of the runway. Why did they do that? These are questions that have come up. Another question that has come up has to do with action the airport authority takes with respect to avian activity. Avian activity meaning bird activity. The Mon airport is close to wetlands and there's a lot of avian activity there. So according to reports, the crew were even cautioned about avian activity. However, from videos we've seen and from some reports, there seems to have been a bird strike. So the question is, how was the airport dealing with the activity of these birds? I mean, avian activity is part of aviation. They also fly in the space, so you just have to be cautious. So the questions are arising: how do they manage their avian activity? Because people are expecting that with developed systems, they should not have too much of a problem with that. The third thing is that why did the aircraft fly so low on the runway in a clean configuration or with a clean configuration? When I say clean configuration, I mean gear up, no flaps, and was quite fast, reasonably. So, speaking to a 737 pilot, the pilots mentioned that for a belly landing, you normally expect the crew to make a mayday call. So, tower informs emergency services to prepare the runway for a belly landing. You know, and you expect the crew to also dump fuel so that the aircraft arrives close to the runway, light, and with some level of flaps or full flaps to increase their drag to help them stop early, basically. But that didn't seem to happen when you watch the video. So that's another question people are asking, and that's what investigators should look into. All these things are important because the aviation space is a very regulated space. Statistically, air travel is still the safest way. People are already nervous about flying. These accidents have increased anxiety among passengers. I have friends calling me, Charlie, Charlie, what caused that? What caused that? I had to repost a video I did on nervous flyers and then how to relax when you're nervous flying. These are the questions that people are asking. Relating this to the Ghanaian setting, we have airports that have concrete structures around them. I don't think that the builders of the airport will build those things for aircraft to hit them. However, in building those things around the airport, have we considered the fact that there can be runway excursion and there can be skidding? These are all things we must think about. For the avian activity, we are not immune to avian activity. Our airports here in Accra and Takrady are all prone to avian activity. What are we doing to manage these things to prevent a bird strike? I think we've done well so far, but what we can do is learn from the incident and prepare ourselves. The other thing is about the crews. I don't want to be in the cockpit with those people. I can imagine the workload. It's so unfortunate that they may not be there to tell their story. But what decisions were the crew making? Were they decisions that proved fatal in the end or decisions that could save lives? All these things will come with the training regime of the company, will come with the training schedule, will come with the flight schedule. There's this notion people have that low cost carriers tend to like pilots with low time because they want to save costs. They don't want to pay people a lot. They skip maintenance schedules and all that. You board the aircraft, they don't even give you anything to drink. They give you water, that kind of thing. Those are all things people talk about, especially passengers. However, I don't want to believe these things are true. So the investigators will have to go to the maintenance logs to, with the aid of the black box, the flight data recorder, and some computers, try to understand the crew actions before, during, and after the incident, and even trace back to training regimes and training schedules. The idea is not to chastise or blame anybody, but to help prevent it next time. So that if they detect any kind of hazardous behavior or attitude by anybody involved, from the air to the ground crew to even the work style of the institution, we can mitigate some of these risks. And like I said, we can sit here in Ghana and pretend this did not happen here. But we are not immune to these things. We are just fortunate that some of these things have not happened. I think our authority and our institutions are doing well to prevent these things. We can only do as far as we can. You know, these countries have more sophisticated systems than us, but they even have challenges. See, so what can we do? We can only learn from these things and try to manage them. So crew should always learn to follow procedure. Always prepare for emergencies. Say pilots fly for emergencies. Prepare for them. Ensure that protocol is followed. When protocol is followed and something wrong happens, you are still vindicated in the end that you follow protocol. Also, following protocol, you have to also use your head and be smart about certain things. Because not all emergencies are captured in the book technically. There are some that we don't expect to happen at all in real life, but can actually happen. For those who build the airports and the airport infrastructure, it's very important that we consider runway sketching, consider skidding, we consider positioning of some navigational aids, and the materials used to construct these navigational aids are the materials that, in the event of any skidding, will cause excess damage or reduce the extent of casualty. Those are the things you think about. In managing avian activity, what should we do? I think we should find more sophisticated means of managing them. Initially, even from the construction of the airport, that is one thing I should really consider. The habitat, the natural habitat. Is that the natural home those birds? How are we going to manage them? Are we going to gradually migrate them to another location naturally? We are going to do it the artificial way. Are we going to manage them in the airspace? Naturally, birds will try to stay away from aircraft, but I mean, some of them are not fast enough to escape. They eventually enter your engines or hit your aircraft. While we cannot totally eradicate or excuse ourselves from all these challenges, we can only try to manage them and help to a high extent prevent some of these things. Again, I just want to express my condolence to the families and to that country and to all those involved, and also put the question to us: what are we learning in the Ghanaian context? What can we do about it? I have started the conversation. Please continue in the comment section and let me know what you think about it and what we can do or what we are doing good to that's keeping us safe. So this is HeliPilotGh. Please like, share, and subscribe. Cheers.